Hi Kipsters, it's Miss Bissett back with another reading lesson. Yesterday we read from this book, Frog and Toad Together. And today we're actually going to read from the same book, the same story. But today I'm going to ask you some questions while we read. And your job is to try and figure out the answer to the question. So here we go. The garden. Frog was in his garden. Toad came walking by. "What a fine garden you have, Frog," he said. "Yes," said Frog, "it is very nice, but it is hard work." "I wish I had a garden," said Toad. "Here are some flower seeds. Plant them in the ground," said Frog, "and soon you will have a garden." "How soon?" asked Toad. "Quite soon," said Frog. Here's my first question. Can you tell from the words and from the picture, what is the setting? Where is this story happening? I know the word said Frog was in his garden. And in the picture, I see they're outside and I see all these plants and the fence. And that tells me the setting is in the garden. Let's keep reading. Toad ran home. He planted the flower seeds. "Now seeds," said Toad, "start growing." Toad walked up and down a few times. The seeds did not grow. Toad put his head close to the ground and said loudly, "Now seeds, start growing." Toad looked at the ground again. The seeds did not start to grow. Do seeds grow by yelling at them? No, that didn't work. Toad put his head very close to the ground and shouted, "Now seeds, start growing." Frog came running up the path. "What is all this noise?" he asked. Here's a tricky question. How do you think Frog was feeling when he ran over and said, "What is all this noise?" Do you think he was feeling happy? Do you think he was feeling maybe a little scared or nervous? Or do you think he was feeling angry? He came running and said, "What is all this noise?" I think he's feeling kind of nervous or a little scared because he doesn't know what all the noise is, right? But we know because we read this story yesterday. "My seeds will not grow," said Toad. "You are shouting too much," said Frog. "These poor seeds are afraid to grow." He was kind of afraid like the seeds. "My seeds are afraid to grow?" asked Toad. "Of course," said Frog. "Leave them alone for a few days. Let the sun shine on them. Let the rain fall on them. And soon your seeds will start to grow." Frog just told him two things that the seeds need. Do you think if I read that part again, you can tell me the two things that seeds need? Let's listen. "Of course," said Frog. "Leave them alone for a few days. Let the sun shine on them. Let the rain fall on them. Soon your seeds will start to grow." Did you hear it? What were the two things Frog said that the seeds would need? If you said sun and rain, pat yourself on the back or give yourself a thumbs up. That night, Toad looked out of his window. "Drat," said Toad, "my seeds have not started to grow. They must be afraid of the dark." Toad went out to his garden with some candles. "I will read the seeds a story," said Toad. "Then they will not be afraid." Toad read a long story to his seeds. All the next day, Toad sang songs to his seeds. And all the next day, Toad read poems to his seeds. And all the next day, Toad played music for his seeds. Toad looked down at the ground. The seeds did not grow. "What shall I do?" cried Toad. "These must be the most frightened seeds in the whole world." Then Toad felt very tired, and he fell asleep. What was one thing that Toad tried to do to help his seeds? It told a lot of things, but what was one? Did you say that he read to them? Or that he sang to them? Or gave them poems? Or played music for them? Those are all things he tried to do to make his seeds grow. You're right. And then he was tired and fell asleep. Toad, Toad, wake up. Look at your garden. Toad looked at his garden. Little green plants were coming up out of the ground. At last, shouted Toad, my seeds have stopped being afraid to grow. And now you will have a nice garden too, said Frog. Yes, said Toad. But you were right, Frog. It was very hard work. So, Kipsters, I have one more question for you, and it's about our friend Toad. So, remember this picture from the very end of our story? He's wiping off the sweat. He said it was very hard work, right? I want to know how Toad is feeling in this picture. So, in your reading log, you can try to write a word to finish this sentence. This says, Toad feels blank at the end of the story. I give you 3 words. Angry, tired, afraid. How does Toad feel at the end of the story? Do you think he feels angry, tired, or afraid? I'll show you that picture one more time, and in your reading log, I want you to draw a picture or write the word to tell me how is Toad feeling at the end of the story. Here he is. Is he feeling angry, tired, or afraid? Write your answer in your reading log. Good luck, Kipsters!